Hey guys, how's it going? So tonight, the United States Senate just passed sweeping gun control legislation. And it's headed over to the House tomorrow, and it's inevitably going to pass, probably along mostly partisan lines. However, in the United States Senate, it actually was quite bipartisan. And I'm going to briefly talk about what happened in the Senate today with this so-called compromise that's not a compromise because we didn't get anything back whatsoever and shall not be infringed, quite frankly, leaves no room for compromise at all. Like literally, if there was one scintilla of gun control, that would be unconstitutional, and the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Now I'm going to go over this briefly, and I'm going to talk about it more in depth tonight on my live stream, which is this, and every Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Here's the gist of it. Red flag laws. Probably the most unconstitutional thing that's ever been devised. Like literally, completely shreds almost the whole Bill of Rights, including obviously the Second Amendment, the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendments clearly, also the Ninth Amendment. Look up the Ninth Amendment. It's actually one of the most beautiful ones. 14th Amendment. And more than I can even talk about in this brief video. It's called Take the Guns First, then Due Process. Ex parte hearing, don't get to face the accused. I mean, it's bad. It's really, really bad. What's so-called boyfriend loophole, which is kind of convoluted and a real goofy way of wording things, but it's going to add a whole nother list of people as federally prohibited persons. So more people are going to have more hurdles in the free exercise of their natural rights that the Second Amendment did not grant, neither did the Founding Fathers, but the Second Amendment prohibits government from infringing. And also, 21-year-olds. We're getting ready to have a completely second-class set of citizens. See, people that are over 18 but not 21 that are old enough to go and fight and die for their country. Oh yeah. A lot of them that live on their own. People that are deemed adults in courts. When it comes to so many things, they're going to put in an extra level of background checks, which are going to take 3 days to 10 days extra, or even longer than that in different circumstances. And they're going to look into their juvenile records, which have normally been sealed in the past. They're going to look at different things with mental health backgrounds. And they're also going to be contacting their local police to see what they have to say about the potential firearms transactions. So, yeah, a second class of citizens, people being adults from the ages 18 all the way up until they turn 21. That seems like that violates equal protection. Look at the 14th Amendment regarding that. Also, they're going to redefine who a gun dealer is. Now, this could include many, many people that aren't trying to be a dealer at all. And they're not actually earning their livelihood like people do have a regular job. But maybe you sell a gun, right? And you have the intent to make money on it. That could make you a dealer that will require you to have a federal firearms license, an FFL. They're going to change some of the text there, and the key wording is predominantly for profit. Now hold on a minute. Who buys a gun, right, and thinks that maybe when they sell it later they'd like to lose money? A lot of people buy a firearm to enjoy it, and then they look at it as a long-term investment. Maybe you would sell a gun later, of course, hoping you'd make money on it, just like how people buy classic cars to make money and buy all sorts of different collectibles and things like that. I think about the milcert market particularly. A lot of people buy imports when they come in cheap, an old surplus rifle or pistol. They're going to enjoy it, and they're not buying it to flip it or be a dealer. But of course, they know that maybe 10 years from now, they'll be able to sell it for a large profit. In my opinion, that doesn't have any intent of being a dealer. But now they're saying predominantly for profit. That could put a bunch of people in the category of needing an FFL. Now, there was a couple other things that passed, and this is what they say the compromise is. But no, that's the problem. It's not a compromise because if it was repeal the National Firearms Act or remove silencers from the NFA, something like that, anything at this point would be better than what they're doing now. That would be a compromise. No, they just gave the Republicans some things that they wanted, which would include things like enhanced school security and mental health. And look, I'm all in favor of enhanced school security and mental health. However, this is the federal government we're talking about, and they're pretty much terrible at everything they do. So I'm not convinced this is going to help anything, but I'd say most likely it's going to waste a ton of your hard-earned tax dollars. Again, Mental health, huge fan of that. School safety, huge fan of that. It's the federal government. Let me know in the comments if you guys know what I mean, and I think a lot of you do. All right. Everyone who voted for this is a traitor, in my opinion, to the American people, to their oath, to the Constitution, to the Bill of Rights. And we already knew, though, that Democrats are going to be, because virtually all of them, if not all of them, campaign that if you elect me, I'm going to enact gun control. So I'm going to name the 15 Republicans right now, and these are actually a lot worse, in my opinion, because all of them, as far as I know, have campaigned that they're pro-gun, pro-2A, right? These are supposed to be the good guys. Even though most of us that are smart know it's really just two sides of the same coin, lesser of two evils. I'm going to name these 15 people that are going to be predominantly in Republican-controlled states with huge, huge red voting majorities. And I know a lot of you guys vote for these people because it's the lesser of two evils. This is where everyone who lives in these states, I'm going to name the senators in just 1 second, it's called primary elections. I know they don't sound cool. A lot of people don't really care. That's where you have to vote out these rhinos so you don't have to always vote for the lesser of two very evils, right? All right, here they are. We have the minority leader himself, Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. So get out there, guys. Kentucky. It's called primaries. This one was a big surprise, the second one. Not really, but it was, if you know what I mean. Actually, it wasn't a surprise at all. Senator John Cornyn from Texas. Texas, one of the most pro-gun states in this country. More guns than, I think, any other state by numbers, right? All right. He was going to be part of this bipartisan compromise. He literally got up there on the stage in front of a group of Republicans in Texas and got booed off the stage. Couldn't even finish his speech. And what did he do? He brazenly came back and said, I'm not going to give in to a mob mentality. I think that was his quote. I'm paraphrasing. And he doubled down. And he said, you know what, Texas? I don't care about the Second Amendment. I don't care about Texas. Because his voting constituents, the Republicans of Texas, when he was giving that speech the other day, booed him off the stage. And he came right in and he doubled down and he voted for this. So hopefully you guys can get yourself a decent primary challenger for Senator Cornyn in Texas. All right, I don't want this video to go too long, but the same thing I said about all this stuff applies to all these senators. If you live in these states, you need to vote them out big time. I know most of the states I'm about to read, you guys don't agree with this. All right, so there was 15. There was those two, as well as Roy Blunt of Missouri, Richard Burr of North Carolina, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both from North Carolina. What a beautiful state. I know you guys can do better than that. Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia. That's the Republican. Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. Susan Collins of Maine. Joni Ernst of Iowa. Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Lisa Murkowski, Alaska. Rob Portman, Ohio. Mitt Romney, Utah. Pat Toomey, Pennsylvania. And Todd Young of Indiana. And I know almost every single state I just mentioned there has constitutional carry. I know that's not what you guys want that live in those states. So vote them out. Make them pay at the ballot box. Say, you're fired. Get out. You were a traitor to the Second Amendment. And you were the traitor to the people that you're supposed to represent and protect the natural rights of all the people in these states. And make sure that you get on the phone, vote out whatever you need to do. All of these Democrat senators that voted for this too, which was basically all of them. All right, I'll see you guys on the live stream. I was going to say tomorrow, but I guess tonight, because it's technically already early morning on Friday. Big win in the Supreme Court. I'm going to talk about that too tonight, but I wanted to talk about this Senate bill because they need to have consequences for these votes at the ballot box. Get in there, primary these people out of there. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.